and whatever I see is smiling at me. Love is who I am.
Hello there, beloved Ascension pioneers. So I thought I wouldn't do any more videos before I go to my holiday, since the December solstice here in the Alps. It's the North Pole here, almost. It's so cold. But today I just was so inspired to write something. It wanted to come through basically the whole week, but today I finally had some sun and warmth after a lot of cold. The sun is pretty warm, although it's at its lowest point right now. So I wanted to write something about the December solstice. Please go to the video before this one. It's my last Ascension. Basically, it's a galactic update. It's a recap of the whole year, but not just that. It's basically a lot of sharing of the whole 9-year cycle culmination and mastery completion for a lot of us, for a lot of you out there, especially if you are in the trajectory of being a volunteer soul. So I wanted to do this automatic writing that explains in further depth and detail of the creation principles, and I'm here as a volunteer in a way to bring those principles of simple cosmic understanding of what are the basic foundations for life, how energy fluctuates through the planetary existence, how we are in relation to other planetary existences and other dimensional worlds and realities. A lot of us, we hold that knowledge, and as many gateways are opening, we receive more and more of that knowledge and information. So this short writing is about the meaning of the December solstice point, but not just the December solstice point. Of course, we're perceiving it here in the north as the December winter solstice, and vice versa on the South Pole and the South Hemisphere. But I did this writing, it actually came through as the representation of the higher truth on the solstice points in general. So from the higher unity perspective and the earth timeline perspective, and this is the writing I want to read out to all of you. Please take this with the consideration that this is not just some new age light information. It's about the structuring of how light information travels, and it always travels both ways. The solstice points are the most extreme points in our polarized reality, in a way, how light travels in both directions. So this writing perhaps will give you a further comprehension of how you yourself, as an activation point on this planet, can receive and transmit the energy of all of your experiences, of all of your mastery, of everything that you are standing for here as the pillar of light. Okay, so here we go. So the sun of our solar system is known to us as the bringer of light. So therefore light, that this planetary existence needs for its growth, the sustenance and evolution of the many species that choose to be here and experience life on the verge of this galaxy and the universe, which is known to many as the life of extremes and mastering polarity through extreme duality even. The sun is known as the central feeding station for that light, which brings all the encodings that we need for the growth and evolution in this cycle of creation. We also know many cycles, and one of the cycles that came through was the Kali Yuga. And if you've studied some of the ancient astrology, the Kali Yuga was one of the cycles and was what we experienced. So check that deeper if you somehow feel a resonance with that. But I'm going to continue my writing here. So all the great directives and initiatives come from the sun, which infuses this planetary station with all its proper attunements that are required at certain stages of its development. So the directives come from the light of the solar logos, the soul, which is almost as the council of the planetary bodies and references, which are all the embodied experiences of all who somehow were here or are here. So everything that goes in and out into this planetary solar system, so planetary and solar at large. So this has to do, everything goes in and out, has to go and has to do so through the portal of soul. So the soul is the income-outcome database, and it's both way communication stream from other light intelligences and solar systems that run in parallel with this one. Nothing can bypass the solar logos. So, and so many souls who had out-of-body or near-death experiences claim to be seeing the light, at the end of the tunnel. Many of them are actually having the experiences of this portal of soul. Not everyone, but a lot of them do, which is the entry and exit point out of the solar system and beyond into the other realms of existence, other dimensions of experience. There are many great ancient ones who knew this as well, so they worshipped in what we kind of perceive right now, the sun, or the great Ra, as many called it, as the great deity. And so many now also know this. So it's not that generally spoken of at large, but a lot of you perhaps who carry this information already within you, or it's a remembrance, or it's a resonance, or you've heard it before, or you felt it always within you, or you were channeling this yourself. So the sun's main 2 points for this transmission and this earthly realm of being an experience are the 2 solstice points in the June and December 21st. So June and December solstice. This is when the precipitation of light influx is at its highest capacity in terms of energy going in and out. The emphasis on the in-going stream of information is at its strongest point, at its culminating point for the June in North Pole and the December in the South Pole, moving through the entire North and South globe of the planet. So the South and North Pole, North and South Pole are actually the first primal, initiates of that light. This again strongly represents the duality consciousness of the upper and lower, the north and south. All meets always in the middle as one, which is the core of the planet. Some call this the central, the inner earth, the so-called hollow earth as well, where the information flow is always in perfect balance, regardless of the external seen, perceived circumstance. It is said to move more inwards. Sometimes we say move inwards during the winter season, for perhaps on the northern hemisphere here in the Alps, and it goes vice versa on the southern hemisphere. This is because the polarized balance is always intact this way, with one pole activating while the other one is in the integrating phase. What the inward phase also means for many who are more conscious of this process is the direct channeling of energy where the soul moves more inward. For example, it's more withdrawn and it's guided to withdraw more from the standard, regular external participation in this reality, in this collective perhaps, or the experiences that we often gather, in order to send the signals through the sun in the direction known as the outgoing signals. So the signal moves from the soul and its gathered light codes in these experiences, and it streams through mostly in an outgoing signal mode and vice versa for the other pole. So where the focus would be on the incoming signal of light so that the overlighting illumination process is equalized on both ends with a perfect equilibrium intact. So the solstice points are 2 of the strongest points of receiving and emitting the codes of light that go from this solar system and planetary existence and beyond. At these points, the interstellar connections are most heightened due to the core mechanics and physics that is behind this process. And many physicists are already becoming aware of this, and a lot of scientists are understanding of this already, and a lot of them are not putting this to the mainstream because it gives us immense power to be aligned with this directly, with this knowledge, because the transmission is non-interfered with that. And that is why we call it a gateway, because quite literally a cosmic highway doorway is most widely open with the streaming of light and coding that is needed for the next cycle of creation, occurring in both ends and in both directions. So when this very simple creation principle is understood, it can be practiced and utilized in most simple ways. For example, in times past, they practiced a lot of rituals at that time in order to align more with the cycles. For example, many souls who have a more direct awareness, connection, and mission in this process of light streaming in both ways would be able to say that not much goes around, perhaps externally or is in physical experience, around the time of the December solstice point on the north, and goes vice versa on the south. That is because their main channel of energy is turned towards and focused on emitting of everything they have already gathered and integrated since the June solstice This goes for the northern hemisphere, since they had their own June solstice streaming in the receiving mode. The same applies for the south, only in the other direction, so that the balance is always in perfect balance, intact. We can, the balance is in balance. I love this. It's funny when you say it, the same word twice. We can benefit from this understanding that is all a natural process, and so we simply need to let it be and let it happen organically as it should. In such a way, the streaming of light will be more conscious and balanced, and one can enter into a more receptive meditative state by allowing this transmission to occur as most non-interrupted as possible. The nature of this process is actually very simple. We either gather what we are meant to gather, or we emit the gathered and already processed information. So a lot of it is through our experiences. The more they become embodied, they become integrated, and this is what goes out. It goes out to other counterparts of us who are multidimensional, multidimensionally spread out the entire universe and beyond when we go into those levels, but we're not focused on that here. So this is a two-way and of course a multidimensional communication stream. So what we, for example, emit on the December solstice on the north will come to us as a new receiving wave of light intelligence in the June solstice. It's almost like we're sending this out to ourselves, to bigger aspects of us, and then it comes returned through new activation points. And in the June, here in the north, at June solstice, we receive new information. We start a new cycle of embodiment. Yes, and so it goes in multiple streams of light, traveling through all the planetary bodies in this solar system and beyond into other dimensional realities and streams of light, and from there on back again. It's like in cycles that appear to us, if we perceive it from a linear fashion, as loops, but they're not loops because each one is more enhanced, it's more refined. So each one is more refined and with evolved levels of new light information. So happy down and uploading, everyone. This is something that really wanted to come through for the solstice. If you want to see why specifically for a lot of volunteer souls, for a lot of pillars of light, gatekeepers, light workers, even for a lot of those who were in this dedication and devotion to establishing a new earth reality, why this solstice specifically this year is so important, and because it's a 9-year cycle completion and culmination, check the video before this one. It's my latest galactic update. It's called Coming Full Circle, and for more cosmic awareness, you can find my courses down below. All the links are always shared there. I have Cosmic Convergence, Galactic Signature, how you can read your star map, Soul Embodiment, Cosmic Beloved, Multidimensional Ascension. That's really good in alignment with this topic. But for now, I also wish to say have a beautiful holiday. This is probably the last video in terms of light streaming for me, because I'm going to be emitting what I need to emit here on the north, because I am located here for practical purposes at this time. And I also wish to say that if you in any way find benefactor, me as a benefactor of knowledge, you know, because I share things through various streams of light and a lot of knowledge, intelligence of the higher connections and higher awareness. You can become a benefactor of me in material way of supporting. There is a Patreon link down below as well where you can support me there, or you can just, you know, go to my random PayPal donation button. It doesn't matter, but if you feel in any way inclined to gift me as I gift all of you in a way, especially for these holidays, I'll be really grateful and appreciative, so that the energy maintenance as well, like this, what I shared with you now, goes in both streams of light, goes in both directions. So I do believe in this cosmic balance always needing to be intact. Everything always has been about this balance. So in any way, if that feels calling to you, you know, these videos take time and take a lot of effort. I've been writing out this in the cold for an hour. And it feels like, you know, I already said I'm not going to do any more videos. I'm already tired, but then it's like, oh, I need to share this one. So if you in any way feel that I go out of myself as most as I can to bring this to all of us, to have more knowledge and awareness of the cosmic perspective and beyond just this planetary day-to-day living, because that's what I'm here for, to bring a higher perspective and awareness of the ancients and yet of the eternal. that which is always happening in cycles. So if you feel in a way you benefit from that and you receive guidance that benefits your own physical ascension, please consider supporting and donating. At least please share your feedback so that I can get more coming back from you to see how this guidance affects you. Thank you so much for this, for your love. Everything is about sharing and putting everything into the melting pot of all of us doing our purpose in our own way. Have a beautiful December solstice. Wherever you are in the globe, emitting, receiving, doesn't matter. We're all doing this in unity consciousness and the light of one. Thank you so much. I love you all. So much love, wisdom, and power as always, and take care. Beautiful time to all of us.